I just don't go to their level. I'm their mentor. I'm their coach. So I'll always keep myself, again, I'm funny. I tell jokes. I'm sarcastic, but I will never go to a child's level. I have to lead them to their greatness.
Welcome to the Generation Youth Podcast. I'm your host, James McLamb. I'm here with a new acquaintance who lives in the same state that I do, that we connected online. Paul, how are you doing today, Paul?
Doing great, James. Doing great.
Well, I do appreciate you reaching out. There's a lot of synergy between what your organization, Mission Grit, is all about, what you feel like your purpose is, and what we try to instill in those people who come to us who want to be life coaches do, that we have that same goal of seeing you thrive. And I love the perspective that you have that we're going to dive into a little bit later. But before we do all that, the audience would love to learn a little bit more about you. They get tired of me talking. They want to hear from you. So if you wouldn't mind, take a couple minutes and introduce yourself to the Generation Youth audience.
So first, thank you, James, for having me on your show. It is definitely a pleasure. And I'll dive in right into about me a little bit. So I'm a founder and creator of Mission Grit. I've been working with children for over a decade, and all of the different developmental programs that I've established throughout the years, they're based on my personal experience and research in the field of child development. And it is a lot of fun to be, let's call it this way, child development scientist. But it's based on my personal individual point of view. And it started as myself, I was born in the Soviet Union. So went through that part of the history. We moved to, as an immigrant, we moved to Israel. I grew up in Israel and served in the special operations in Israel. Then followed my heart, and I found the love of my life in the States. So that's how I ended up being in the States, in Chicago, and live happy. And we have 2 kids, and it's been wonderful. Throughout that time, so before we start having children, I asked myself the question is, what is the world I want to leave behind when I grow up? Or what's the world I want to have around me? So I started researching and looking into how do we make our world a better place. At that time, I was working with lots of politicians. It was not related to children, and politicians, entrepreneurs, high-level executives. And I saw that they all talked about the change, but nobody actually made the change. So I asked myself the question is, what is the change? And children is the change. So I started working, developing different child development programs that I believe that are fundamentally will help children to become a greater or better leaders, or a very strong, good followers. Now, I'm not saying as a good followers, but somebody that can find the right leader and support that system with loyalty and thinking outside the box. And we work, not everybody wants to be a leader. So a lot of times I ask questions in classes, or I ask children, who wants to be a leader? Not many kids raise their hands, and which is not a bad thing. We just want to help them to explore their high potential, to support those systems, to find the right leaders, that they have the right ethics, and that they can do good. And that's what we do in a very interesting perspective. Throughout the years, I was able to craft the methodologies and the philosophy of all the child development facilities that I've created throughout the years. And it's been really successful. And it's really great to work with children.
So what are these programs that you've created, that Mission Grit has created based on your philosophy and your experience? Because in our conversations beforehand, this is really driven by your experiences, obviously growing up, and the type of physical activities you've done. So what are some of the things that you guys do, and how do you see it working?
So before I answer that, I'll answer that a little bit different. I asked myself a question: to build strong systems, who abuse those systems? Who are the people that are taking us a step back? And I've noticed that it's more often than not weak people, because of their fears and their weaknesses. They tend to be more aggressive towards others, bullies and such. They're weaker on their fundamental philosophy about life. For me, it was to create a system that will help children to become stronger. Now, stronger, it can be in different fields. Physically, it can be academically. The way I look at that thing, and this is something I learned from one of my mentors, and he told me that if you're good at one thing, you should be good at all things. You cannot be maybe great, but you should be good at those things. So what we do is it is a methodology and a system that combines four elements: physical, mental, social, and character development.
Okay, say those again so our audience pick them up. Physical,
Physical, mental, social, and character.
social.
The way I look at that, that's the fundamental, the base for a human to exist in society. So they have to work on those four elements to exist and also to survive. Because we always work against the elements, and there is some sort of struggle of survival. So we have to be strong because you're always going to be tested on any path you're going to choose. You will be tested. And we want to provide our children with the right tools and the right experiences that they could be a completely different experience from what they are faced, but it could somehow subconsciously help them to overcome that particular situation they're in.
Mm.
So the goal is to provide the children with small experiences in a controlled environment that they can be also observe and then conduct a conclusion. So the way Mission Grit set up, it provides small experiences for children on a weekly basis that are variable. So they're not different; they're variable, and and it's very also hands-on, and it works on those four principles: physical, mental, social, and character development. Those elements are constantly exist. They fuse together to provide that maximum experience.
How does that work? What are these experiences like? Because I can hear our parents right now going, "All right, this sounds good, but what does this mean? How does this work?"
So again, the goal is to build strong individuals
Hmm.
or individuals to identify weak points in what they need to work on. So find the triggers. Number one, the environment is very high speed. So everything is delivered with high level of intensity, very strong command presence, high structure. And now I'm going to break down those four elements. So physical, I chose to work not to develop athletes. We are not athlete performance development. We provide kids with physical experiences that are practical, such as obstacle courses. So
Oh,
now I do not even want to call them obstacle courses. It's just elements that can alter movement. Now, it is a natural habit for children to be on a playground. They explore, they fall, they stand up, and they do it again. That's the easiest way of establishing confidence, at least on mobility. That's the easiest way to show a child that you can't go over the wall, try again. And then they go over the wall. So that's the easiest thing. Then we have the mental aspects. The mental aspects are introduced into following instructions, individual discipline, information processing. We do not we do not shower kids with information. We give them a very specific information, and this is why it is different from other child development programs that they're driven by teaching. We're driven
hmm.
by instructing. That's the two main differences between some other systems out there. Instructing, it's a very precise, specific. We're not wasting words, and very quick, but it's also driven by a very practical skill. So we do not want to, we still tell jokes to the kids. We're still very fun with them and engaging them, but it's very precise. It's very specific. So that's on the mental aspect that we also fuse certain information processing elements such as memorization. They need to know the routes, where they go, and we hold them
Mm.
accountable for that. So in a nutshell, that's the mental aspect. So again, physical, mental, social aspect. So the social aspect is extremely important for us. We live in society. We want the children to be exposed to as many cultures and different people as possible. Now, in the past 12 years, I've seen over 100,000 children, and
Wow.
that come from different backgrounds, come from different cultures, come from different abilities, physical abilities, or we have kids that come with neurodiversity that they do a phenomenal job in our system. Many places also refer us, well, they refer them to us because they feel that the system works very well with children with neurodiversity. And so social aspects, they learn how to communicate to each other. They learn how to solve problems with each other when they arise. They help on I should step back. They learn not to be afraid to have that human touch one with each
Mm.
other. Because there is a lot of aspects of helping each other to go over. And I've seen that
Mhm.
Many systems these days are prohibiting from children having any like physical contact. We believe that it's creating an isolation. Again, we live in a society that when you go on like a bus that you want to go somewhere and it's a rush hour, you will be standing next to people. So instead of making it awkward, have conversations, learn from that journey. But yeah, they socially, they're really, everything is designed to push them to work together. Another aspect that with our services that in the past 12 years, I've created over 600 plus team building challenges, and they're submerged. So every class or a service or a camp, they're driven by team building challenges.
Hmm.
It could be something like as simple as going over an obstacle course blindfolded, but then you pair kids together and one child is guiding the other one over the obstacle course. And then they switch because they always have to play different roles to feel how it feels to be blinded and guiding somebody. So this way they have accountability one to each other. So they have to work together. This is why we do not do any individual one-on-one sessions. We do not,
Oh, wow.
because social aspects are extremely important for us. And the last thing is character. So character development is it's a very big word, and a lot of times it's not even, we can guide, but it goes from families because
Hmm.
character development, it's individual ethics. It's how you treat others. Is are you lying? Are you honest? Are you loyal? Do you care for other people around you? So that's that type of character development. We want the children to be accountable. We want the children to
Hmm.
care. We want them to learn what is sense of urgency. If somebody asks you to, can you please bring me water? You'll give them as quick as possible, not half an hour later. And they learn all of that through those experiences with a very strong instructor in mind.
So a parent is excited about this. They send their what? First off, what age group do you work with mostly?
We work with K through 8.
K through 8. All right. So I've got a 10-year-old. They're going to come to you and they're doing their first session. Walk us through what that might look like. What would a session, a group session look like? What are they going to do, when they walk through the door so that our parents can get a visual picture in their mind of what's happening here?
Absolutely. So, again, before I answer that, I want to talk about the 3 services that were
Okay.
carefully selected and they were carefully designed. I'm going to start with the first one, that is a birthday party. Everybody think that when you go to a birthday party, it's just eat a cake, run around, and all the parents go home with 3 heads because it's thousands of people and it's just a mess. I'm familiar with that myself. One day I went to one of those events and I told my wife, I just fired myself. I will never go again. Because I really felt that it's something that I must do. And it didn't felt like a birthday party celebration. For me, celebration of a birthday party, it's an event.
Hmm.
It's an event, especially for the child. It needs to be memorable and not just checking the box. So when I really design the birthday parties, they're designed around putting everybody, parents as well, into this experience that they are celebrating together. For example, children come in, they literally go through a training session.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And what's that training session look like? I mean, what are the children doing?
So they're doing obstacle courses as the easiest element to introduce them to discipline, to introduce them to listening and following instructions. Also, every single element that they do, it's a test.
Hmm.
We're testing them to see if we can trust them. Can we go to the next level? Do we need to adjust the training to meet that specific group? So it's literally building trust one with each other.
Hmm.
In that session, we will do 2 different team building challenges. They specifically designed to elevate the child's birthday specifically. So all their friends are going to lift the kid up in the air. They do things that they would not see and they would not do anywhere else.
No, what is one of the activities? Tell me one of the activities. This kind of excites me to think about. So,
So, like I said, we have a lot of them, but the 2 classical ones that come in my mind is the surfing board. Kids lift a specific board, and they have the birthday child standing on the board. So it's basically they're carrying the child onto the parent area. So it's very interesting. It's very not just interesting to see how all the parents just jump in and start taking pictures and videos. It literally puts the
Except
child,
for the
the
mom
person.
of the child that's on the board who's freaking out over there. Don't drop my baby. Don't
So
drop my baby.
yeah, well, we're there. We're supporting everybody. So far, knock on wood, nobody fell. And you know what? If somebody's gonna fail, they'll do it again. They'll do it again because if you fail, you do it again. So far, but nobody. We never had any issues, and it's great to see how everybody really start clicking and understanding. Oh, this is the birthday child. We're here
Hmm.
to help that kid to really elevate their birthday. The second team challenge that comes into my mind, I call it the Navy SEAL challenge or the kayak challenge. Our children, they're literally putting the birthday child goes in the kayak and they lift the kid above their head and carry. It's something unique, something you
It's
don't
something like
see.
how they carry that log above their head on the.
Yeah,
Okay.
well,
Yeah.
well, Navy SEALs can also carry these boats, and yeah, if you ask a Navy SEAL, they will probably tell you they didn't have a positive experience with that, but we make a positive experience from that. It could be a night challenge. So, for example, our children did an obstacle course, and now we teach them about light illumination and the headlamps and the flashlights and what are the differences between them and how to adjust their speed. And now they're going to do an obstacle course at night. So we call it a night challenge. Kids love it, absolutely love it. And again, we also involve the parents. Sometimes, if the group is old enough, we will also put the birthday mom or dad inside the kayak, and it's just very, awesome experience because there is that wow factor that goes into that.
I'm
And
imagining a mom freaking out more than their child is. I'm not getting in that thing.
we had some moms like that, but we tell them like, sit down, let's go. But it's so that's the birthday party. Classes we have monthly theme. Now with classes, so for example, we have a monthly theme of 6 simple machines. So we're also working on incorporating real information that the kids can connect to that, and they can say, "Oh, I can apply that at home," or for
Mhm.
example, or like first aid, or for example, we had right now a month that we just finished. It was precision month. So now precision month is it had each week the children use some sort of a tool to throw a projectile into a target. So now don't forget that they also doing all of that while they're doing obstacle courses. So they're fatigued. So we want to see how they function under stress. So we had first week was archery, second week was knife
Hmm.
throwing. Yes, knife throwing. And this week we had darts and also other. They had to build like a catapult, and then they also have some sort of engineering behind it.
Wow.
But they're also engaged in obstacle courses. It is the way the system is working. It's hard for me to tell you right now because I can write books about how we run the classes, but it all fused together. So there is a
Hmm.
specific theme, and then the kids learn how to interact with that specific theme, and again, always physical, mental, social, and character. You asked me like how the kids did archery as a team. Well, that was simple. Number one, we don't use lethal. We don't use lethal
Arrows. Yeah.
tips.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't use
Yeah.
lethal tips. So we use soft tips, and then their targets are they're floating. So we have little ping pong balls, and we have this
Oh.
like a leaf blower, and it just so. And what the kids do is we give them a goal, and they're like, okay, you're going to lift the child up in the air while you're providing a stable platform for the child. That child needs to take the one of the balls down. If you will not do this under 5 minutes, then we're going to do exercises. So there is always a consequence. So there is always either a reward or
I like
consequence.
that.
So yeah, no consequences, no education. So there is always has to be a consequence.
I love that. I love that.
Now, and with the camps, it's a completely different game. Camps, the kids spend the entire day with us, and the whole camp involves nonstop teamwork, nonstop.
Mm.
So they're immediately split into teams by age. And then on top of that, every single action that they're doing, so those team challenges, they have an opportunity to earn points. We call this thing the mission grit money. Now, with that money, with those points, they buy supplies from us for the next challenge.
Oh, wow.
Now, it's like a monopoly on top of, so they learn how to do budgeting, they learn how to work with each other,
Okay,
how to
that is really cool. That is a holistic approach that I don't think I've heard other people in this field do. I love that, Paul. That is cool. That is very cool.
Yeah, that's again entrepreneur. For me, it's very important for kids. As again, we talk about leadership, and if one of them is, or some of them will become entrepreneurs, I want them to learn how to work with budgets, how to understand we should not buy popsicles because a lot of times I'll throw in. I got cookies to buy, I got popsicles to buy, especially after something that is very difficult. I want to see how they work together. So you can have that one child that is screaming like, "I want a popsicle," and then everybody start explaining him like, "Look, hold on, let's talk about this." It's amazing to see how children actually make very, very smart decisions
Mm.
when it
So
comes to.
what are some of the outcomes that you're seeing from the children who have gone through this, the benefits that they receive on the other side of working through these four areas?
So talking to parents, what we've seen is adjustments in behavior.
Ooh.
We've seen more care for their siblings. If they have siblings, they will care more for them. We see a child that start just interacting different with the environment. They gain high level of confidence and
Mhm.
they're just becoming more. They want to challenge themselves. They want to explore themselves more. That's what we've seen.
Mm.
Now, is this is for everybody? So this is one of the biggest questions I always get. Is this for everybody? My answer is yes, as long as the parents are on my side.
That is wise. That's a wise statement. If you've got them backing, then the child can do that. So yes.
Exactly.
Uh,
But we have a high level of support. We have a high level of retention because one of my biggest things that I teach my instructors, and also I'm going by it, we will never give up on the child. Never. Now, our giving up is not like, good job or giving those, positive reinforcements. It's not about that. It's about not giving up on a child to give up on themselves.
mhm.
So, for example, if a child is crying, it's okay. Wipe your tears. Let's do this again. Because it takes a lot of patience to work with a child that doesn't want to do something, and you have to almost like make them do this thing. And then once they do it, they succeed, and they actually a whole world opens up in front of them. We lead them. I believe in strong, charismatic adults. We do
Mhm.
not go to child level. We do not, and that's one of also biggest things that a lot of times parents and teachers talk to me. They're like, have so much engagement from the kids. How, like having 50 kids in front of you and they just look at you and like they're just, you can hear the pin of a drop from miles. I just don't go to their level. I'm their mentor, I'm their coach. So I'll always keep myself, again, I'm funny. I tell jokes, I'm sarcastic, but I will never go to a child's level. I have to lead them to their greatness.
I love
So,
that.
and that's our job is to lead them and not to become buddy buddy with them. We love them, but we love them different.
I love that. I love the way that you're integrating in so many different aspects of skills that they need for life with the same goal of developing those four foundational principles. I just love that because it's not only physical, you got teamwork, the whole business mindset of being able to budget stuff. That's brilliant. I really like that. I can see why it's so popular in those things. So there's three different aspects that they do. They got the birthday events that they can do, the classes they can do, and your camps that they can do. So
Yep.
how
We,
can our all go ahead, I'm sorry.
yeah, we also go to schools. We do assemblies.
Ooh,
And we
you do
provide,
all right, what do
yeah.
you do in an assembly?
So we provide the same experience. So we have a model that is called sprint obstacle courses. We come in, we set up. One of the biggest elements for me, why physical? Like before we even start teaching or introducing the kids to wisdom, they need to get tired. They need to get that energy out. Now, once they're tired, they're like, I'm happy to sit down and listen. But again, you know, the listening is not like, okay, here's a PowerPoint presentation. Let's right now just sit down and listen to nothing. No, it's quick and it's sharp. There is a lot of different elements that we do to increase the engagement.
Mhm.
And again, very strong individuals. And by the way, all of my lead instructors are veterans. I believe because it sits on that militaristic a little bit.
Yeah.
Again, I don't want to say it's not a boot camp. A lot of times people like, oh, it's a boot camp. No, it's not. It just sits on a very robust, high structure, very specific, and I hire veterans. And the veterans that they come in, they have the skills. Probably they've been in the best academy in the world of life, military. Military is a very well-oiled machine. They know what they're doing. They have the leadership, the sacrifice, all those aspects that you will not find in, I don't know, like a university. It's different type of university. That's how I classify. I'm not
Hmm.
saying that the other ones are not no good. No, they're great. They're academical. The military has different objectives. So, and I just took those great qualities that don't really find these individuals don't find these qualities in the marketplace. A lot of times, great veterans with a lot of years of leadership end up being in some sort of, hand-working jobs. So we take those individuals and we really help them to transform into mentors.
I love that. I love it. That's right. So currently, you're just based in Charlotte, North Carolina, right?
Correct.
So how can our audience engage with you to find out more about what's going on, even if they're not in the Charlotte area? How can they reach out and find out what's going on and benefit from the knowledge and skills that you have?
Well, we're always open if there are teachers or entrepreneurs, individuals. I've helped many businesses to adopt some of these philosophies. I
Hmm.
know a few of our competitors that adopted without my help, which is okay. This is not my information. I always look at that as I'm just discovering with everybody else what is the best thing. So I don't put trademark on that. I don't put on this. This is not my information. This is information for everybody. If I was the first one to discover, great. Let's help each other. Let's understand how we can integrate those elements. So there is always an email, phone. I'm always available. And if
Hmm.
I'm not available, I'm gonna let you know that I'm not available. So it's like that. I'm very down to earth, and if somebody wants to learn, and I'm always open for that.
So where can they connect with you online? Where's the best place to find you? Social media, website? How can they
I'm,
connect with you?
I'm an old school. I don't even, almost don't go on the social media.
That's
Via
not
my
a bad thing, my friend. It's not a bad thing at all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not my thing. I don't communicate phone. Even with my wife, I'm like, look, don't text me. Just call. Just give me a call so they can call me, and I would love to hear a voice from the other side because that's how I communicate. Even if I receive large emails, I would rather call the person and
Hmm.
talk to them because out of a conversation, we can have wisdom come out. So it doesn't cost me anything. It doesn't cost them anything.
And they can find the contact information if they go to missiongrit.com.
Correct. Yes. Emails, contact us, phone numbers, everything's available.
So, audience, if you're interested in integrating some of these principles, reach out to Paul. He sounds like he's more than willing to impart the wisdom that he has gained over this. Working with over 100,000 kids, this guy's got some, street cred. He's been there, done that. Seen what works, seen what doesn't work. So, I'd really encourage you if you're interested in this type of holistic approach to talk to him.
Yeah, absolutely. I would love to talk to anybody if they want to help our children, the next generation, to become really great people, strong individuals that can make good decisions. I would love
Hmm.
to connect with them.
And I love the age group that you're working with. It's so often overlooked because people are saying, yeah, they're not going to be their attention is not there, and the purpose in which you're approaching this with, and I got to commend you on the fact that you're treating them, with the respect and the maturity that they really desire to have. You're not talking down to them in any way, and you're challenging them to aspire to be better than they are through these different activities. That's very admirable, and I love that.
Absolutely. And just reinforce what you said. We do not treat kids as kids.
Mm.
We don't use words such as, which is not a bad thing. Again, don't get me wrong. It's not a bad thing. So, one, two, three, eyes on me, or some stuff like that, we do not use because I feel like it is very childish. And I feel like it doesn't have a place with us. There are great places out there that do what they do, but there is a specific persona, a specific character that we go by. And I know that it works. I know that it helps children to really, especially children, like for example, that they give a hard time to parents.
Hmm.
They bring their children to us.
I love that aspect. So, Paul, thank you. Thank you for your team reaching out to me and connecting. I really love this idea. I wish there was something. I wish you had a franchise or a space here in Raleigh so I could see firsthand some of the aspects of it. Since we're only about 3 hours from each other.
Well,
So.
you're always welcome to stop by for coffee. I'm always, so I can show you.
Yeah.
But we do have big plans. I do have expansion plans, and we already have in motion. but it's not going to be a franchise. I have went through that, and I just feel that this is not the right way of expanding philosophy.
Very good. I love that. Well, Paul, thank you for your time today. Audience, thank you for sticking with us. If you
Thank you.
stuck with us for 35 minutes, you found value in what you're looking at. So, Paul and I would like for you to do three things. Number one, like. Number two, comment on this podcast. But the third one is this is the most important one. You know what I want to say, audience? Share this. Share this with someone you know, because there is someone, this may be the answer they're looking for. They need to know more what's going on. They need to see this. Talk to him or engage with him, learn more about what's going on, go to their website so that you can glean some of this information. So thank you, audience. Thank you, Paul. Any parting comments for the audience?
Thank you, James. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
And thank you, audience. And we'll see you again very soon on another episode of the Generation Youth Podcast.